It's your boy Fred from What's Happening. I'm just seeing if you checked out Patreon yet. Ad-free podcasts, full video episodes, unedited content, exclusive merchandise discounts, early access to merchandise, vote, partake in community polls, and inspired content, access private chat, and minimum one bonus episode. What you waiting for? Tap in on Patreon. But yeah, so like a co-worker of mine just recently like shared a picture from when I was a manager in Dollar General, and it was me and like 4 of my employees in a picture, and like I'm standing to the side just kind of like leaning in the picture because they're like crouched and me, you know what I'm saying, in a corner, you know what I'm saying, taking this picture.
Right.
And this lady comes under it and be like, "Oh my God, it's Steven. Do you know he passed not too long ago?" And so, you know what I'm saying, my assistant manager, Jimmy, was like, which one is Steven? Like, which one, you know what I'm saying, are you talking about? Because there was an actual Steven in the picture and he was right next to me.
Right.
But like, we know Steven's alive. Like, there is no doubt in our mind that Steven hasn't passed. So she was like, the one on the far end on the left, and it's me. And so, so my assistant manager goes, I don't know who you may think this is, but Fred Scott, you know what I'm saying, it tagged me basically, you know what I'm saying, I'm sure he's alive.
He's alive and well, right?
Yeah, so I popped in like, yeah, bro, I'm alive and well, and so is Steven, you know what I'm saying, just in case, you know what I'm saying, she say like, oh no, I didn't mean him, I meant the one on the end that wasn't black or something, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, okay, well, yeah, Steven's alive and well too, so let's just finger on that shit. But that was weird though.
Yeah, man, that'd be that's just crazy. I had a story that you triggered in my head for a second, and it left my brain that quick when you said Fred Scott, because it wasn't that similar to the death part. That's the mistaken identity. That's some hood stories. And somebody run up on you real quick, gang of fools come up out of nowhere. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh no, this ain't him," and then they just go like, "What?"
Bro, why'd you say that? Like, we're not finna start off with storytelling. Like, so check it, story time with your boy. But
hold on, I don't want to do it in the middle of the episode this time. Welcome to What's Happening. I'm Fred.
I'm Fred.
It's the show we talk about what's happening. What's happening with you, bro?
Man, chilling, bro. Busy as hell, working my ass off, man. Trying to, you know what I'm saying, do my 1-2. What's up with you?
Man, getting back in the groove, bro. Had a full week of work this week, you know what I'm saying? Just making it happen. But I mean, that's been cool, you know. Ain't nothing really too crazy going down. You know, I'm failing at this fast. I ain't gonna hold you. The crazy part is, bro, I just did the same fast in November, but I don't know
ain't
why.
got the same challenges, you know what I'm saying?
It is the same. Well, it's additional. It's the intermittent fasting in the middle of it, and I think that's probably the part.
No, I'm saying like life challenges, like everything ain't the same as it was probably then as it is now. So you might have some different obstacles in the way where you may have not had them or some different distractions. That's all I'm saying is you got some other challenges that maybe.
You know what? It's the pace, because I started this challenge. I was at home, so it's easy to just. But it's like now I went back to work and it's like my brain is just off. Plus, I'm ramping up my workout. Like I've been getting in that gym 5 days. We doing that push-up challenge. I've been doing my 5 push-ups a day, guaranteed. Like my 5 push-ups a day, 5 days a week. I've been on it.
You got a group where y'all be posting videos of y'all hitting y'all's for the day?
Yeah. We just got a
So
little small little support group. Some folks ain't talking in there, but we just here to support. I ain't here to like, why you ain't doing your exercise? Just waiting on squat chat. What I'm jumping. I ain't trying to hit nobody like that. You know what I'm saying? We just out here just supporting each other right quick. But yeah. But
as it
anyway,
should be.
get back to it. Story time with your boy. Run it up, fools. Run it up on you.
So yeah, you know what I'm saying. I was in college in Cincinnati, and so I was staying with a shorty. You know what I'm saying. And for whatever reason, me and my shorty was like kind of, you know what I'm saying, having static, and you know what I'm saying, my homeboy, him and you know what I'm saying, his shorty was having static. So we was like, man, somehow we was talking on the phone or something, and I think his shorty was like, yo, y'all want to talk so much, you know what I'm saying, and why don't y'all sit over here with each other? Shit, I was like, well, shit, bring your ass over here with this crazy motherfucker, and I will.
Right.
And so, of course, we decide, all right, let's do that. So they came over, and instead of taking the car, me and bro like, fuck it, y'all can handle it. We'll walk, you know what I'm saying? It's no
Right.
biggie, it's around the corner. So I kid you not, like he has a box of cereal maybe, and you know what I mean? Or I had the box of cereal, whatever, but we walking, and like we hit the corner and we're going down the street, and next thing you know, you see a black car and they turn their lights off. We was like, what the fuck? Like, I know this ain't no Friday shit where we
I was
finna
about to
have
say
to
on some
try
Friday
to,
type.
you know what I'm saying? Like dodge bullets and shit right now. Like, ain't no way. So these mugs, like, they turn their lights back on and then they like drive just up past us, probably a couple steps. And as they drive past us, they stop again. So we look back like, so me and bro, like, look, man, it is what it is. If these mugs, you know what I'm saying, get out, we just gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, scrap for our lives. Like, we ain't got no other choice.
Right.
So one dude get out, take his shirt off. She's like, oh shit, here it go. And then another dude get out like, bro, that's not them. That's not them. Get in the car, bro. Get in the car. So they hop in the car and peel out. We like, what the fuck? So then next thing we know, we hear dow, 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 dow. We was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? So like we pick up the pace. We kind of like trying to get up
Hell
the
yeah.
street, you know what I'm saying? So we can bend the corner and get out the way. Well, in the process of it, you know what I mean? Next thing we know, we get to this intersection and there's some old heads up on the left. And then there's these two dudes right here in the middle of the intersection in the street fighting over a gun. And they like, one dude's like, bro, chill. Like, no, he like, no, bro, they just came and shot up our house. We finna, I ain't taking that. We finna go back and we finna shoot their ass up. He like, nah, bro, like, we all good. We all living. Nobody got hit. Like, bro's really trying to tell him, like, hey, it's not even worth the retaliation right now. I don't know what they was going through, whatever it was. So at the time they tussling over the gun, me and bro, we run up on these old heads on the porch, like, old head, like, hey, get from over here. We like, hey, listen, we ain't even from here. We just some college students. We just seen y'all over here kind of ducking. We just wanted to duck too. He was like, y'all ain't on no bullshit. We like, hell no. He like, come on. Like, we get up there on the porch. We was like, man, we not from here. We don't know what's going on. Like, we beefing with our ladies, and we was finna go over here, eat some cereal, and play some video games. Like, this ain't what we was. Nothing. So, bro, we sitting on the old head porch. We think it's cool. They still in the middle of the street, like kind of tussling, but like they getting tired. So this gold Ford Focus pulls up. And we was like, oh shit, what's going on? Like, who is this? Dude, this lady hops out the passenger side. Police, hands up. In an undercover car, bro. Literally puts them both, you know what I'm saying, face down on the ground. Another person jumps out the driver's side. They handcuff them, take the gun. They get the scene clear. We wait like another 2-3 minutes. We was like, hey, OG, we appreciate y'all. Like, we thank y'all. We know you don't know us, but we appreciate y'all because we ain't know what was going down over here. He was like, nah, y'all good youngsters, just try to get home before something else shake around this mug. Man, we been in the corner. We walking up the street. His house is like 3 blocks up the street, but these blocks ain't no small blocks. They, you know what I'm saying, them good city long blocks. You know what I mean? So, man, as we going, it's a white truck, loud pipes. We look back. These must turn their lights off, turn it back on. We like, what the hell, bro? Like, there's no way we can still be in the midst of this bullshit. Like, maybe it was just an accident. Man, we was like, man, I don't know. It's getting louder. They revving it. Like, what if they try to run up on this curb, nigga, and hit us? All we know is we just take off running. Like, man, like we just trying to get to the house. And they hit that bug, and they go flying past us, and we slow down at a light pace. We get to the house, bruh. We like, man, fuck this shit.
We ain't coming out.
Next time we get into it, we just sit at home with these bitches. It ain't worth it, bro. Like, hey, but nah, bro. Like, that shit was crazy, though. The first ones in the car, like, when they hopped out, we really thought we was finna be scrapping 5 cats that was hounding out of a Honda Accord for no reason. Don't know them, ain't from there, has nothing to do with what's going on around there.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll share my story since you shared yours. So, kicking it with the homies. All my homies live on this one block. Not all my homies, but like a couple of them, they lived on this one block, and we would all just kick it at their house. These two, they lived literally next door to each other. We would literally just kick it between the 2 living rooms and the 2 couches, 2 porches, right? And one night, you know what I'm saying, we kicked it just like we always do. Man, all we have to do was either hoop, tell jokes, sing choir songs. Like, that's all we did, bro. Like, no trouble at all. Maybe go to a little Coney Island, get some chili cheese fries. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. No smoke with nobody. Nothing like that. And I'm just walking home one night, bro. And I'm just walking down the block. I'm walking by myself. It's dark, but it's my hood. Now, at the same time, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's like this in every hood. I know it's like this in Detroit. There's certain blocks you just don't walk down. You might be okay in a certain neighborhood, but there's certain block. Like, all right, you know, like this street is cool. You know what I'm saying? But between these 2 side streets, you just don't walk down these 2 side streets unless you just live there and you can't help it. But you live there. You don't walk down these side streets. And even if you live there, maybe you walk around and come from the other side street versus the one that's closest to you. Whatever, right? So I know where to walk, and I'm walking down the safe streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool, right? No number old folks and families live on the street. Right? But it's at night. I'm walking home. All of a sudden, I hear, "Hey, nigga." I look over. It's a hand coming out the car. I just start taking off. 0.2 seconds. Boom. I walk into a tree.
After you told me this back in the day.
I think I did tell you too. To go, oh, my bad, bro. It's somebody I know, dog. Just acting
you said it was a brush or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, nothing in his hand. Man, damn, they gave me concussion. And I do remember I telling you the story because I remember I said as soon as I hit the tree, I thought I said to myself, well, this is it, because I walked into a tree. Oh, growing up in the hood, bro. Ain't nothing like it.
Oh my goodness.
Man, well, let's go ahead and get into the docket. You know what I'm saying? We got to down with the boy now. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna start off with the big one now. We talked about your boy Trump. So, you know, I decided we gotta be fair.
This motherfucker said my boy.
Okay. Hey, you have made it clear that you have liked him. Hey. So
He's not a bad guy.
Well, I disagree with you there, but that's not the point. We talked about Joe Byron today. We talked about Joe Byron. They found documents in his spots.
What kind of documents? Is it like
Classified
the
documents.
Mar-a-Lago, you know what I'm saying, or whatever that place is?
It's classified documents that he ain't supposed to have in his personal place. That's where the comparison ends.
Same scenario.
It's not the same scenario, but it's the same starting point.
Here we go. Well, he be protecting them folks, boy. I tell you.
I ain't protecting. I'm just presenting the facts. See, the difference is that I look at the details. While the details are different, it's still bad. I'm not trying to say he okay. It's still bad. But the difference is between with the other two is that Trump had to get this spot rated because Trump wasn't giving it up when they were suspicious. They found it on Biden kind of on an accident. They found it in like November, but it didn't come out until. Say it again, huh?
Why they just now saying something?
Now that's the part
where it take that long.
That's the part where he gonna be in trouble. That's the part where he gonna be in trouble. Because
apparently, ain't the documents truthfully supposed to be at his house? He stayed at the White House, right?
No, they at his house. You a fool.
I was trying to help your guy out just a little bit.
Whoa, he ain't my guy. He ain't my guy. I already said I did not want to have to vote for him. That's just what happened.
So did you vote for Trump?
Hell no. I said I didn't want to have to. I didn't say I didn't. I said I didn't want to have to.
Oh, he's a funny guy, boy. I tell you. Hell no.
Listen, I say everything with intent. I didn't want to have to. I did it. I didn't want to have to, but I did it.
Should have left it blank.
It was too risky. But no, man. I mean, no, yeah, he out here. He got caught slipping. They said they found a couple pieces of documents at his at an office he was using, and then they found a bunch in his garage, and then they found like something at another office or something. I don't know. And it's from time when he was the vice president.
Here's my
which
question.
Is crazy.
So how do they be knowing exactly when a motherfucker got him? From how long he had them? From what it stemmed back to? Like, how do you know all this information?
I'm just assuming it's dated.
What, dated that when he picked it up from wherever he picked it up from?
Oh no, I'm assuming it's like it must be like a memo, and the memo got the date, you know what I'm saying, January 1st, 2016, or whatever that date might be, whatever that was on it. I'm assuming the memo was dated.
But that don't mean that's when he got him. If that's when the memo dated. Like, the only way you can say he truly had him at this date is he had to check him out of some type of library situation.
Well, I think even still at that point, if they're classified documents, that means that he got them during his time as vice president. And once you're not the vice president, you shouldn't have them. Just like the same way where Trump shouldn't have these documents in Mar-a-Lago when he's no longer the president. They probably shouldn't be in Mar-a-Lago in the first place, but they definitely shouldn't be there when he's not the president.
Well, that's what he was using for his office, quote unquote, and I can see why they're there.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not it should have been there ever, I don't know. But definitely when you're no longer the president or the vice president in Biden's case, you ain't supposed to have it at all.
So if Biden's like, okay, yeah, I'm no longer the vice president, but I am actually the president right after being the vice president, then am I still in the wrong, quote unquote, unless I would have turned him over if I lost and was no longer any type of president?
There's no if I lost. He had a 4-year gap between being president and the vice president.
Oh well.
He said, I tried to help.
Oh, that nigga he was Brock's fucking.
He wasn't no Biden. He wasn't no Trump vice president.
Yeah, I know that, but I didn't think about it. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, yeah, now it makes sense. I mean,
yeah. So I mean, he got this Republican House. Woo, he gonna be in trouble.
I mean, what's
The
the
Repu-
punishment?
I mean, the Republicans is gonna be on his ass. First off, they already said before they even had something as legitimate as this, they already said we're about to invest everything. We about to try to like some Republicans been talking about we need to try to impeach him, and they ain't got nothing to impeach him on. But now they got something legitimately illegal to potentially pursue. Oh, they about to be on his ass.
But what is the punishment besides being impeached? Like, if they don't, like, what is the?
Well, that's what'll happen if they can legitimately justify impeaching him. Then they will. But it'll be the same thing that happened to Trump twice. You might be able to impeach him, but ain't enough. They ain't got enough love in the Senate to get it actually confirmed. That's what would happen. But they could ride his ass, and they could carry this into 2023. I'm sorry, this is 2023. They could carry this into 2024. He might be in trouble. He about to have a headache on his ass.
So basically, at most, he doesn't run or he loses the next election behind it. As
I think it able to be able to say that he loses the next election behind it. We'll see. Because say it again.
You heard it here first.
Oh yeah. Oh,
He's
that's a
kind of time
prediction.
stamping that.
I would say it depends on the details. You know, I mean,
yeah,
definitely. He's got a lot going against him, and I mean, and
what do you got going against him besides this here?
Besides this here, the general state of the economy. I mean, the inflation is starting to cool down according to the numbers, but like people still don't see it that way. All I see up and down my Facebook feed is the egg memes because the eggs are so damn expensive.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily his fault. This is the backlash from all that damn stimmy money we were so excited about. You know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
The reality to it, you know what I mean? Because we didn't put it back into the economy. We went and, you know what I'm saying, splurged on things that didn't necessarily matter. You know what I mean? That's why it's cheaper to do like cruises and different things of that nature right now versus the normal shit, because that's where we spent the money.
Spending the money is putting it back into the economy.
In a way. It depends on how
it
depends on how you spend the money.
No. Spending the money puts it back into the spending the money puts it back into the economy. Does it effectively put it back into the economy? That depends on where you spend it, but it does go back into the economy.
And it does, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But and I mean, just regardless of the fact, this is where the backlash of these eggs being so damn high and everything else being so damn high, and you know what I'm saying? And then we gotta look at the reality to it is over time, the numbers for employment has still not reached back to where it was pre-COVID. So when you can't produce the same material, same goods, same things, the price will go up as well because you don't have the numbers to help produce it. I haven't seen a Walmart stock yet, like for real stock, since pre-COVID. Go in and be able to just find everything you kind of need for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, there's times you go into Walmart and it's like, okay, y'all got a little bit of something. Like maybe it's coming back. And then you go back in a couple of days later and that bitch bare bones. Like, damn, there ain't even a holiday coming up. What's going on? Like,
yeah. You know, and I think thinking back, since we talked about the egg thing, you know, I mean, where do eggs come from?
Chicken.
Right? And they've been talking about a chicken shortage for 3 years. I feel like it was kind of inevitable if you really think about it.
Yeah.
I is
I mean, there's a lot to play in it, but it's just more than just eggs. Like it, everything is kind of really short demand, short supply.
I think the biggest lesson that we continue to learn from the economy, I'm sorry, from COVID, is that we were always on the brink of disaster, and that we need a wholesale, like, complete reform on our economy. That won't happen.
Yeah, that's just wishful thinking.
We got way off track from talking about Biden,
But
but
it all,
yeah, I think it's something to keep your eye on, because I think he tried to make an excuse where I think they found some documents in a garage that he has at his house in Delaware, and I will continue to say that Delaware is not a real place.
that's just where all the old presidents stay, huh?
Uh, Delaware is just extra
Delaware,
Pennsylvania.
Rhode
It's not a real
Island,
place.
Virginia.
um, but no, all jokes aside, he tried to say that, well, it was secure because it was in his locked car where his Corvette is, and it's like, mm, that's not an excuse. Like, that's not. Like, yeah, he about to put the fire on his. They about to put the fire on his ass all 2023.
Hey, well,
Um,
you better be ready.
he better be,
And don't fuck up
because
no more, because they just gonna help ride that into straight election time.
the crazy part is that they've been trying to, like, say he fucked up doing this and fucked up doing this, and the truth is that this was a mistake that he made before he even had the job. That's crazy.
Yeah, like I mean, you been out of the position. You the one that said it. He been out of the position 4 years. He knew that shit was there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He probably was visiting that shit often over the 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's locked in the Corvette don't mean you ain't pull it out. You know what I'm saying? Prior to getting elected, and then just ain't had time to go back and look at it anymore. Like, but I mean, I wonder what the files be. You know what I'm saying? Pertaining to that'd be the biggest thing. Like, what
Yeah.
type of jeopardy do you put the country in having that stuff, you know what I'm saying, at your house, depending on what it's pertaining to?
This is somewhat off topic. I was at the gym this morning, and they always have the TV on the news. You can't hear anything,
Right.
but across the ticker, it was either CNN or Fox. I forget which TV screen it was on. But it said that there are over 1 million people in the US with, like, whatever it's called, the top level security clearance. 1 million people.
How many people in the US?
Well, I think it's like 300, and I think we're at 330 million population.
So that million is very small at that point.
It's a small percentage. 331, let's just round up, 332 million. So 1 divided by 332, it's a very small number. It's like 0.3%,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was thinking.
I'm doing the math now. 332. I'm sorry, not 0.3%. No, yeah, I'm right. 0.3%. Sorry. All right. I know how to read numbers. 0.3%. So a third is 0.3% of the population has that top level security clearance. So percentage wise, that's not a big number. In just terms of raw number, that just seems excessive.
Well,
Now,
I
like,
mean, I just figured, like, when you look over the years from, you know what I'm saying, like the people that's been in certain positions
yep,
that's been out, and
and
you know
that's
what
what I
I'm saying, the
thought.
rotation of certain, you know, positions who don't get the longevity of life at their position, you know what I mean, they
Yep.
still don't have access to that type of stuff.
Yeah, and
You
that's
know
what I
what
was
I mean?
thinking. Life expectancy is a lot longer these days for people. So people are living longer, and then you might be It might be somebody that's 94, 95 years old that might still have that top level security clearance. Ain't gonna do nothing with it because they 94,
Right.
95 years old. But that's what I was thinking. But it's just a big number to think about. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, man,
And
let's
then
see.
all the branches of the service, yeah, it goes deep.
Yeah. So Keenan Anderson, who is the cousin of Patrice Cullors, who is one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter, was killed by police, LAPD. Did you see that?
Hmm.
Uh, I read a little bit of the article. This article is from BBC.com. Pause. Keenan Anderson, 31, a teacher and father, died at a hospital in Santa Monica. LAPD have released body camera footage of the January 3rd encounter. It shows Mr. Anderson begging for help as officers hold him down. The police who tasered Mr. Anderson were called to a traffic accident in the Venice neighborhood of Los Angeles at around 3 p.m. Um, Scroll down a little bit, and toxicology report produced by the LAPD showed that Mr. Anderson's blood tested positive for cannabis and cocaine. Los Angeles County Coroner's Office will conduct a separate report. Footage adds pressure on the LAPD, whose encounters with black and brown men have resulted in 3 deaths in under a week. Takar Smith, 45, and Oscar Sanchez, 35, were both shot dead by officers at the start of January. What's going on? What's happening with you, bro?
I mean, that's and part of Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? That shows exactly why. You know what I'm saying? It was created. I mean, it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? But it happens more and more nowadays.
I don't know if it happens more so much as we just have an internet to bring the information out.
Yeah, everything's recorded more, but I still feel like it's well, you know what? It depends on what days you are referring to, I guess, too, because in certain times, I'm pretty sure, like back when, segregation was prominent, it probably happened way more than now, and because it wasn't probably looked on as a bad thing or like something to worry about getting in trouble for, or having to go through what they go through now if it was to happen.
Yeah.
So
Any that
I
lied on
guess you're
Emmett Till
right
is
in
still
that.
living.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I would say you're probably right in that aspect. About I don't know about more, but just you're right. And I've said that plenty of times that everything's recorded now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can see it live in real time and across the world. So
Yeah, I remember my cousin had a t-shirt in the early 90s, and it said "Justice for Malice Green." And I was like, man, who is that? And I never thought about it. And then I randomly thought of it a couple years ago, and I googled, and he was beaten, killed by Detroit police. Maybe not beat, but he was definitely killed by the Detroit police. I remember Cat Williams stand-up special. Watching the DVD, I forget which one. It may have been the first Pimp Chronicles. If not, you know what? There's 2 versions of the first Pimp Chronicles. It's the one that he titled the Pimp Chronicles, and then there was one that's just like live in Cincinnati or something. It was like right before he got the HBO special. A lot of the jokes are from Pimp Chronicles, but it's not the same set for set, same thing. But at that one, and I can't remember the name of it, but at the beginning of the DVD for that one, he brought awareness to somebody that was killed by the Cincinnati police. in 2004 or 2005. One of the two. And I remember watching this video. I'm like, oh man, I never heard of that. I can't think of the guy's name now, but I remember that. So I mean, it's just this stuff has been going on, but now, you know, you have access to the internet. I'm looking at you on a computer. Next to the computer, I have a cell phone that I can access the internet on, and I've got tablets and other devices all throughout the house. It's just easier to grab the information, to share it, to So I think Will Smith even said it. He said this stuff isn't new, it's getting filmed. I think he said that like 10 years ago. But yeah, man, and I think, if the people will say, well, he had this in the system and he did this, and when the George Floyd thing happened, it was, oh yeah, fentanyl, and like
it's
not an excuse to murder somebody.
And that's just what I was going to say. But at the same time, if your family had fentanyl in their system and somebody shot them,
exactly,
and they said, well, they had fentanyl in their system, you're like, I don't have a right for him to die.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's across the board, regardless of the situation or issue, especially when you're at the hands of somebody that's supposed to be trained to handle and de-escalate situations and, you know what I'm saying, be able to apprehend somebody in a safe, you know what I'm saying, manner. That should be the last hands you should be dying from. You know what I mean? Like, bottom line, you shouldn't be dying from those hands. I would expect you to die from somebody that's not trained in that, you know what I'm saying, maybe don't know how to control emotions and anger and what have you before somebody that was trained.
And this is the part that make me mad about people, because like, I spent the whole last year talking about inflation and not looking at the whole situation, talking about gas prices in particular and not looking at the whole situation, and wanted to blame Biden. But like, knowing full well that that's not something that he can control. But he ran on the campaign talking about how he ran on the campaign talking about police reform. Like, why are we talking about gas prices and not talking about life? That's the kind of stuff that make me mad.
Hey, it's just to get your vote.
I mean, and okay, right? But when are we as a people going to actually begin to hold people accountable for what they say and what they do?
Never. I'm just being honest. It's never going to happen. At this point, we're way farther from being able to achieve that than we are.
Hold on. I'm going to just stop you there. It's not that we're not able. It's not that we're not able.
We're not.
Why do you say we're not able?
Because you got to think, like, the outlets that we've given for some of the smallest of things, how can you hold somebody accountable when you give them an outlet to blame it on? And I'm not, you know what I'm saying, trying to say that those things aren't real, but you get more people using those outlets or those crutches to have something to blame it on before being held accountable.
I'm not sure I follow you.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? You might have someone that abuses women that, you know what I'm saying, they want to blame it on their alcohol or their upbringing, you know what I'm saying, or their mental health issues because of different trauma. I'm not saying that none of those reasons aren't, you know what I'm saying, valid or real, but they're crutches to give people to not be held accountable for actions that they do or for promises they make that they don't keep. And we've made it easier and easier and gave more crutches and more outlets and found more things that we say, we didn't know before, and we're labeling it, different things, and saying, hey, that person needs more help or more counseling or more medicine, or, to control these things. So therefore, they're not being as accountable. You have a lot more parents that's raising kids that, aren't being held accountable for small chores and activities and things that help make you responsible and accountable as adults. Just across the board. You have more people entitled these days that feels entitled, not, are entitled, but feels entitled. And as long as that's the mentality and that's, the way of thinking, and that's the outlets we give, you're not going to be able to hold somebody accountable. You know what I mean? You're not. And then the people that that people look up to, stars and celebrities and whatnot. I mean, now you can say that some of them are being held accountable, but it's still not fair across the board.
So I think what you're saying, or at least what I'm gathering, is that we have to figure out a way to maintain a healthy medium of accountability and understanding. Understanding that when we know better, we do better, but not to be a pushover.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean,
and I can get down with that. I can get down with that.
In the smallest term, that a lot of people can use or say would be like government assistance. At what point do we hold the people that's getting it accountable to do better, now that we know better, that unless somebody make them do better, they won't? And I'm not blaming them, because, as someone who has received government assistance as a male, which my fathers and them didn't believe in that shit. As a man, that's for women and babies. Period, point blank. As a man, you better get out there and go get it. So at what point, do we not make it as easy, or flip it to where people who, are trying and need a little help can get it, versus ones who necessarily aren't trying to help themselves and using that as needed, if that makes sense.
It does, but I also think, like, and we're about to go way into another area, but I also think about the other side. Like, when do we hold, like, those that have learned to abuse the system time and time again accountable? I forget exactly what we were talking about today. Oh, somebody won the Mega Millions last night in Maine, 1.35 billion, and um, and my son was asking us, or we said, hey, they won't get that much. We're like, I don't know. And it's like, how does that work? It's like, well,
you said 1.35 billion or million?
Yeah, billion with a B. Somebody hit that Mega Millions last night, largest jackpot, second largest jackpot in the history of the Mega Millions, and that we were saying, like, yeah, they get, like, they could take, like, the lump sum, and they pay like 50% in taxes, and then, or they pay, they could take the annuity payments, and they'll pay like 40% in taxes. Like, you don't get you got to pay taxes, and then it went off into a conversation. Me and the wife were talking about, like, it's taxed like income, and like when people hit these mega millions, they win these large sums of money in the lottery. They don't know, like, what to do with it, and the conversation just carried on. And we were talking, and like I don't know, a lot of people don't necessarily even know this. There's a lot of CEOs that's getting paid regular salaries. Like,
Yeah.
like I make more money salary wise more than a lot of CEOs.
Yeah, but their bonuses and incentives and different things is what make
Exactly.
up the
Exactly.
notion of what a CEO should make. But that's, I mean,
Exactly.
that's kind of like, you know, professional athletes. You know, they think they get paid so much more, but the endorsements and the other things is what really makes their money. Their contract, you know what I mean, isn't really the bulk of their pay.
Right. And the point of the conversation was is that like when regular people come into this kind of money, they can't keep it because they don't have the infrastructure in their lives to be able to hold on to it like someone in these high level positions. And that was all said to say, when are we going to start fairly taxing people across the board so that we can have situations where people don't necessarily need to live on the system? You know, there's like a well-known story that Walmart helps or either has helped their employees in the past, like, well, hey, this is how you apply for, food stamps and housing assistance and all of this, because they'll get the government, which is us, at the end of the day, to come out of money to support people as opposed to paying their people a living wage.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we got there from Keenan Anderson being killed by the police. We are all over the place tonight.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's because we got on accountability and
yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay. We went way into so much, but y'all, this how them phone conversations used to work at Target Mobile. This is exactly what you used to have it. The whole thing, the difference would be like, yo, I got a customer, I gotta call you back.
Yeah.
El DeBarge got arrested. And
Man,
I didn't know that he's had a lot of legal trouble over the years.
it wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he old school, you know what I'm saying, was in the game big back in the day when it wasn't nothing for them to have a little, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know what I mean, be
Muscle.
toe up.
Love me in a special way. What?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it don't surprise me with people like him and at that age where, man, that's what they used to do. Why can't they do it now? You know what I mean? That's just where it be boiling down to.
Well, he was arrested. I'm reading this article from Entertainment Weekly. Musician El DeBarge was arrested in Burbank early Sunday morning. So this was last week. Early Sunday morning. This is January 11th. Oh, okay. Okay, this was last week. All right. Musician El DeBarge was arrested in Burbank early Sunday morning. Police have confirmed to Entertainment Weekly. Officers first approached DeBarge at a gas station at around 3:40 a.m. after they noticed his vehicle had expired tags. Burbank police said during their interaction, they discovered the weapons and learned that DeBarge did not have a valid driver's license to operate his vehicle. He was arrested and charged with illegal possession of a baton, unlawful use of tear gas, illegal possession of a controlled substance, and illegal possession of drug paraphernalia. That is kind of a lot to find because somebody had expired tags.
Yeah, it's normal. I mean, they find 50 of them in Detroit a day.
Hey, hold on. First off,
hey, I ain't lying.
They do not find 50 in Detroit a day, motherfuckers.
Might be an understatement.
Not gonna have you slander my city.
Listen, y'all tags for sure be bad, stealing stickers, the whole nine. Like, Come on, man. Ain't got no insurance. Talking about no fault.
Now listen, they definitely ain't got no insurance around here. I ain't gonna even listen.
Hey, gonna tear you up and keep it pushing.
I wouldn't even try to tell that lie on this microphone.
So, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's a normal day, man. Like that. It's sad that it's like that, but you know, it's really like that. And I don't know Elder Bars like, that well, but I would say if he's been in that type of legal trouble, his age that he was in the game, he probably ain't got the bread like that no more. So
yeah. The tear gas part is the one that's like, what you about to do with some tear gas?
He finna hit a joker with it that run up on him 3-4 deep, thinking they finna rob an old player that ain't got nothing anyway. He ain't finna be getting mollywop fooling with you jokers thinking y'all about to rob him and he already broke.
Oh man.
I'm just saying, they becoming as celebrities, man, different.
I don't know why this popped in my head just now, but you just thought about being broke. I don't know why this will come in my head now. I don't know, but remember years ago I saw this post where somebody said they tried to buy a pack of ramen for 23 cents and the car got declined, and the cashier was like, "Just take it, bro."
Hey, you feel bad for
if my card got declined, I'm sorry. If my card got declined for ramen, I'd have had some hard times.
Hey, I'm pretty sure the cashier scanned the extra bag and threw a quarter in the register,
Man.
Or just took it on the chin. They probably got a $2 plus or minus they could be in. It'd be, quarter show.
Man, I just the embarrassment. Like, I couldn't look at you, bro. Like, I ain't had my card decline like in a while. Like, I remember the last time my card
please, if you got Cash App, your card get declined once to twice a goddamn week, nigga. Oh, I forgot to unlock it. Niggas just lie for no goddamn reason. Like, y'all hear that shit? I talk about everybody forgetting to unlock that shit.
I don't have no Cash App card, but I did see a post on TikTok. This girl did like a screen record of like something and was putting it on TikTok, and the Cash App card got declined in the middle of it, and everybody in the comments noticed it. It was like, "You need $7." And she put her Cash App in the comments. As everybody was listening to her, she made like a good $300 off of that.
Bruh, I ain't mad at her. Go ahead and get her a little bag since y'all want to talk about me. Go and give me some bread. But hey, that shit funny. I was looking at somebody did a reel, and they was working at Amazon, and they was like, they walked up. Lady was like, "Oh yeah, girl, we finna get off work or something." She's like, "You got a customer." Customer come up and say, "I want to buy this," and she said, "Okay." And she gave her the card. The girl put the card in her pocket, and she was like, "Ma'am, why aren't you running my card?" She said, "Because I run it when I feel like it." She said, "But I need to lock my card back. Like, why aren't you running my card?" She said, "Because I'll run it when I feel like it." Basically, the way the skit is saying is with Amazon, motherfuckers with Cash App be trying to lock their card back, but Amazon don't charge you till your shit shipped. So you got to keep your shit unlocked, and motherfucking Apple Music be done got you, nigga. Shit, so Netflix be done hit you. Next thing you know, Amazon try to hit you and your shit decline because Apple.
You remember me? This one TikTok I saw. This had to be about 2 years ago. It was somebody that's like waiting on that payday to hit, checking the account at midnight. Money ain't there yet. Check it at 12:47. Money ain't there yet. Checking at 2:01. The money ain't there yet. Checking at 3:30. The money ain't there yet. And the balance is like the whole time. The balance was like $5.82. Then check at 4 a.m. Apple took their $20 to iCloud.
Bruh, it be like that. Like they be falling.
And she's like, God damn, Apple took my last.
Straight up.
The Broke Chronicles, bro.
Hey, it be real, dog. Like I
No,
remember
one
in
time.
Target
Go
Mobile
ahead.
days, jokers had 26 cents waiting on that midnight deposit. Hey, Target Mobile
Hey,
days be serious.
listen, them Target Mobile days, bro. I remember the hustle I used to run.
Hey, you
Get
did
that,
have you a little.
get that Target Red card, right? You can get two. You can get two Target. You get the two
Hey,
times Target Red
get
card.
the
Wait,
debit
wait.
one. Don't get the credit card. Get the
You get the
debit
credit one. You
card.
get the debit one. Get the debit one. You still get to save 5%. The money just come out your bank account instead of the it come
Oh,
out like a
lit.
check, right? Tuesday night, need a little something. Use that Target Red card. Go get a $50 Visa gift card with that Target Red card. That money ain't gonna come out till about Friday. We get paid on Thursday.
Hey, stay dangerous, my boy. Stay dangerous. Hey, there was some fun times, G.
No, that's 26 cents. No, trying to get through January. Oh man, I've been there. Oh, I've been there. Now, the funny times was before you realize, like before the internet got as good with these apps and things like that, right? I remember one time, my boy Michael, shout out Soko, he hit me up, him and his lady, they was going to go to Ryan's and they wanted to know if I wanted to go. I was like, let me go check my account real quick, make sure I got the cheese to go. So I got to turn on the computer. I ain't got no smartphone with no app. I turn on the computer. I don't know how much money I'm working with. I get on, I check my balance. We go for the lunch special at Ryan's, the buffet. It's like $7 for lunch or something smooth like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got like $150 more than what I thought I had. I was like, I messaged back, like, yeah, and it's on me. $27 with the tip. We good. I've got it.
Yeah, you silly.
Hey, good times, boy. Good
So
times. Man, we got what? One more topic left?
I think
Yeah.
it's true. But just so you know, the Jags came back and won.
The Jags won?
Bro, by 1 point.
You a
Field goal.
liar.
Bro, I just so happened we was talking. I turned my head and I see the Jags like jumping, but it say like 28-30, like they lost. I'm like, why is they jumping? But I see Chargers sad. So I was like, maybe they just ain't update the points. And I see him raise the kicker up.
Crazy.
Hey, he threw 4 interceptions. He got to be the made history. Threw 4 interceptions and came back and won down by 20 something points.
That is nuts. So no.
I just know you. Why when we got on, you was like, man, what? The Jags trying to make a comeback in some joking manner. Like, well, they did.
Hell no. I ain't no like Jags fan. I ain't no Chargers fan, so it don't matter.
I feel you.
But them boys, they was down.
I know. That's the only reason I said it, because you like made like a little joke, like, oh, they trying to make a comeback, like. And you was like, well, when last time I seen them, they ain't have nothing. I was like, well, they had 7 when I last seen it. Turned it to 31.
Oh man, that's wild. Hey, congratulations to the Jags. Y'all going to the Super Bowl. No, I'm playing.
They might. Hey, shit happens in this game.
So
but shit, what's up?
Last one, this little tweet went viral on the name is Spicy Ass Cayenne. That's her Twitter name. And she wrote, my best friend died giving birth last night at Centinela Hospital due to medical neglect. She and her boyfriend complained for hours to the nurses that she could not feel her legs, and they told her they could not call the doctors because they would get upset. Now my best friend is dead. So we just went from ha ha and tee hee and all of that, but we got real serious real quick. And I remembered I mentioned this. This is about a year ago. I mentioned it in passing on another podcast episode about how black women die more often in labor than white women, but I didn't know the date. So this article is that I'm reading from. It's from prb.org. This was written on December 6th, 2021. I'm just going to skip down here to the second part of the article, and I'm going to read it. It says, Black women 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy-related cardiomyopathy, blood pressure disorders, than white women. By thoroughly re-examining death certificates from 2016 and 2017, researchers found that the maternal mortality rate among non-Hispanic Black women was 3.5 times higher than that of non-Hispanic white women. This is a dramatic increase from previous analysis based on standard medical codes that found that Black women face maternal death rate 2.5 times that of white women, according to Marion McDormand of the Maryland Population Research Center at the University of Maryland, who led the study. So, a Black woman was giving birth, was complaining about pain, was not treated, was not taken care of, and died in labor. And this happens far more often to Black women than it does to white women. And it's sickening. And I forget exactly what we were talking about when I brought this up, but I know. Do you remember me bringing that up before?
I do, but I can't.
It was the Brian Flores episode when he had gotten fired from coaching and wasn't given an opportunity to get another job and things of that nature. And we basically talked about how, Black people are treated like animals because, yeah, you can get out there and play. You can run the field. You can go tackle. You can go play basketball. But when it comes time to lead, when it comes time to be understood, we don't really need Black people for none of that. And it's kind of the same thing in another sense when this Black woman's pain was considered to be a potential nuisance to a doctor. And now she's dead.
Unfortunately, I'm sure that they gonna come back and say that the doctor wouldn't say that, and that was something that the staff member said.
Yeah, the hospital will say
staff member.
Yeah. I'm sure the hospital, if they haven't already, the hospital will put out a statement that says, this is not the kind of care that we provide here. We hold ourselves to the highest standards and things of that nature. And as a brand, okay, you got to protect yourself. I get that. Something got to happen to them nurses.
Most definitely, though. They should. Their license should be pulled.
And effectively, something does have to happen to that hospital.
Yeah.
Because there's a culture, and culture starts at the top.
No, I agree with you. I mean, unfortunately, though, chances is it probably ain't gonna be a whole lot that happens. I hope that this gets traction and gets the right people because, I haven't heard about it, so I can only imagine that it probably ain't a whole lot being done as of yet.
Yeah, yeah. She wrote and she commented, she subtweeted herself. Thank you for the outpouring of support. I did not expect this response. I will be muting this until if or when her family is ready to speak out. So, and this was 2 days ago that she wrote that. So, there's a family mourning the loss of
their child.
And we don't necessarily know what happened to the baby. So that's what
I was going to ask you. Of those 5 times more likely people, I wonder how many of their babies live.
I will scroll real
Because
quick to
9 times
see.
out of 10, those babies live and they end up in a white home.
Woo! Woo!
Hey, it's the reality to it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? So I
You
wrote
was
my
going
rant.
on rant.
I wrote my rant. That wasn't even what I was going to rant about, but it's related, and it's about our Black women. And I'm beginning to notice that the standards are different. And not I'm beginning to notice. I shouldn't say that because I'm not beginning to notice that at all. But there's just some pretty clear people act different. Okay, so I'm seeing some people, and I don't see this a whole lot, but a lot of people, with different things going on with the political environment, what's Kamala Harris doing? Vice President of the United States. What's Kamala Harris doing? And to the best of my knowledge, a vice president can't sign a bill, right? To the best of my knowledge, for a bill to be passed into law, the way it's supposed to work is that it goes to the Congress. The House of Representatives. And the vice president is not a representative of a state. So vice president would have nothing to do with that. Once the House of Representatives passes that bill, it then goes to the Senate, and for a law to be passed, it typically has to be a 2/3 majority, meaning 60 of the 100 senators. Or there's some laws that can be passed by just a simple majority of 51. And when there's a tie, that's when the vice president can come down into the Senate to break the tie, to either pass or veto the law. Outside of that, when that does happen, it still goes to the president, whoever that person is, to sign the law. And then the vice president doesn't have the ability to sign executive orders. Vice president can't do anything to change a state law or a local law, municipality law, county law, or anything like that. And she's the current serving vice president, for the last 2 years. But then for 4 years before that, we had Mike Pence as the vice president. I never heard anybody in 4 years say, "What's Mike Pence doing?" And then 8 years before that, we had Joe Biden. And the only thing I ever heard people say about Joe Biden in that first 8 years was nothing. Nobody ever said anything about Joe Biden. What they did was we shared memes of him wearing sunglasses with Obama, either doing something. Just it was Joe Biden memes. And then for 8 years before that, it was Dick Cheney. And the only thing people ever said about Dick Cheney was how he shot one of his homies accidentally on a hunting trip. It's just weird that people are, when there's finally a black woman, suddenly they're feigning for some level of accountability from the vice president office when it's not even a pathway for it to happen. It's weird. We had the Megan Thee Stallion thing, and I know you and I talked about that on a podcast a little bit. Tory Lanez was found guilty. All the stuff kind of came out, and then there was some audio that came out, and I don't know if you got the opportunity to talk about this, to see this at all. So this is not at you. This is just in general. But as soon as the audio came out, it was Tory Lanez talking to somebody, and while it wasn't an absolute admission of guilt, it was a pretty clear, it was pretty clear someone who had made a grave mistake and was feeling bad about it, and it was a recorded jail call. He called this person from jail. That call was recorded, and that call was leaked out. And now that call was leaked, nobody's suddenly talking about Tory Lanez anymore. But nobody's coming back. The people who were talking about Megan and talking about her life choices and saying that they think it's a setup, it just got quiet now. There's another situation, and I can't think of it at the moment, but it's time for people to stop trying to make the standard for Black women harder than what it already is, because it already is, because they're women and they're Black. It's kind of shitty.
No, man, I agree. And I mean, I'm just throwing this out there though, but when people say, you know what I'm saying, I know you spoke from the accountability factor, but do some people, when they say, you know what I'm saying, where's Kamala Harris or whatever, are they just talking about from a standpoint of, since she's got in office and everybody talked about her chucks and pearls, you know what I'm saying, when she was getting, you know, sworn in and whatnot, you just really haven't heard or seen of her since? Like, it's just like mad weird that it's like not one picture, post, not like, it's almost like, where is she? Is she okay?
Well, and I guess that's the part where I'm like, I don't get that, because she's out there, but also, like, she's the vice president. We didn't see
No, I
anything from
get
Mike
that
Pence.
part.
We didn't see anything from Mike Pence for 4 years. We didn't see nothing from Joe Biden. First off, and people who like aren't plugged in, starting to pretend to be plugged in, that's problematic to me. I can tell you that I saw a video that Joe Biden put out on YouTube in 2016 when he was still vice president about, you know, why we really need to focus on infrastructure. I can tell you that, but I'm also a person that's like way more plugged in to politics than most, right? Um, I can't tell you a thing that Dick Cheney said or did. I don't even know what Dick Cheney's voice sounds like. And that man was the vice president for 8 years.
I feel like there was more to Dick Cheney than what you give him credit for. I don't know. I just felt like I heard of him quite a bit growing up in school, you know what I'm saying, for various different things. But I
That's
could
because
be
we were
wrong.
immature and his name was Dick. That's why.
No, because you're immature. I wasn't immature. Like the fuck.
That ain't true. That ain't
I wasn't. I wasn't.
okay.
But I wasn't immature. I mean, dude, truthfully, most people hated me because I didn't want to lighten up. Come on, it's just a joke. So, you know, but I don't know. I felt it might just been in class or something. Maybe my teacher made a fun segment about the presidents at that time or something when they, you know what I mean, got voted in or whatever. I don't know. But I just felt like it. I'm not saying I did. I said I just felt like I heard more about it than what you were saying. But I mean, I ain't gonna disagree with you, but just, you know, I ain't plugged in with the politics like that. I have, because I had said it to myself a few times, like, damn, what happened to, you know what I'm saying, Kamala Harris? Like, is she still a vice president? Like, I just in thought, like, you don't see much of her. But I don't, you know, I don't think nothing of it. I guess when I used to say Obama, I used to say Obama and Biden. So it's just like, because of the way the campaign ran, it just was kind of like a thing where I mentioned them both together almost in a sense.
You know what's crazy is that when Trump was president, it was the Trump administration. When when Obama was
Bush
president,
administration.
it was the Obama administration. When Bush was president, it was the Bush administration. But you know what it is right now?
What?
It's the Biden-Harris administration. They're making a point to make sure that her name is mentioned, and because her name is mentioned, people are like, "Well, what is she doing?" Okay,
That might be the case because I didn't know it was the Biden Harris administration. Like I don't refer to neither nor, let alone both. But
right.
you know what I'm saying? So
It's just
that makes
like I
sense,
said.
I guess.
I noticed that people are feigning accountability towards the current VP, but nobody said nothing about the last three.
It'd be like that, big dog.
Fred is Mr.Humble_beginnings on Instagram and Fred Scott on Facebook. I'm Brad Robinson 86 on Twitter and Brad Robinson 1986 on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. You can follow the show at What's Happening. You can watch us on Patreon. Click the link in the show notes to check that out. And subscribe. Follow us wherever you get podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating if you feel as though we've earned it. Write a review. Share the show with a friend. And we will see y'all next week.
Peace.